This is the IKEA Besta cabinets, professional level, museum quality, if you could call it that. Many hours put into this. I'm making this video so you can save some. This is the dark brown. Our flooring is dark wood. Everyone said you couldn't put brown on brown, and we did it, and it looks great. We did put this light here, which fades. It's one solid LED strip. They're pretty common now, meaning as opposed to a bunch of little weird dots on the paper. We have one there, and this is solid too, except for these. There's 6 different ones that come in a box, even though we only have 5 cabinets. There's a plug up top. We did not use number 6. It's basically a hub, meaning they're designed for cabinets. And I'll show you here in a second the LED strips and how we lit this, because it's the correct way that anybody who does lighting would do it. And we chose the blue LED up top because we tried putting these normal colors, meaning this yellowish, and it just didn't pop. And the one up top does dance to music. It's all different colors if you want. It's about 3 or 4 feet. You got to measure, do the best you can. It is overlapping, meaning we have a curvature up top, a tail, and it doesn't seem to be bothering anything. Before I forget, because I did forget on the previous video, which is why I'm shooting this again, you need L brackets. And they come from Home Depot, and you might want to get 3 different sizes because our wall is thinner on this side, meaning the gap where you put your finger behind it is thinner than on the other side. Don't worry about the baseboards. You don't need to be all the way against the wall. Trust me, it looks amazing. You don't need to. So just leave the baseboards there, install it, make sure it's straight, use levels. But you do have an L bracket, and the whole thing was wobbly until we put the L brackets in it, all straightened up. Next, you're gonna have to buy these barrel bolts. They're on Amazon. I would look up bolts for cabinets for IKEA furniture. They're about 1 inch or so long. You paint them all black before you start, or whatever color you need. We could have painted ours brown, but you can barely see them, and they're black. And they're gonna go in between each cabinet, left and right, up and down. And you do not want to over torque them. You just barely are hand tightening them with the Phillips screwdriver. And you'll see if you over torque them, that will actually bend the cabinet. The cabinet will actually start to collapse in. This is IKEA stuff, people. So I'm just keeping it real with you. So you want to start with no feet unless you're trying to go all the way to the ceiling. I think they look terrible with feet. I know this because I tried different feet, 10-inch feet, 4-inch feet, 3.5-inch feet. And the reason is I was trying to get the cabinet to go all the way to the ceiling. At the end of the day, it did not. We chose that route because it looked so clean once we went to the floor. Look, we could have fit an extra one over there in that one spot at the end, but we wanted it to feel a little more homey. We put a plant there. That's a Costco plant. And we had an air vent right there. We could still just drop the air vent down a little bit and slide it in if we were to put a 6 row, which we did consider. But we have a step right here. As you can see, it's right there. And so this is all the way to the left it can be. And then we could have went more to the right, but the real truth is we wanted it to feel still like a house and not like a museum. So this is the route we went. So you got brackets, L brackets on every single one. I think on one of them or 2 of them, we actually have 2 depending on where your studs are. You want to connect them to studs. So you have a stud finder. You go around top at the very end. This is when you're done. Next, to save yourself some time, here's the tricks. 1, do not put the spring-loaded gizmo that's in the door until you really need it there. You can actually just take a piece of blue tape on any of these doors, and you can put it right here and make a little tab for yourself. Just kind of, just fold it over, almost like you're pulling on it. And if you really need to open these doors, and you take the blue tape done when you're or take the blue tape off when you're done. And these things, which are adjustable, you don't even put them in till basically you're ready at the very, very end. They're not needed till the very, very end. Next is when you're lining these up, you just need to keep it real with yourself. You're going to spend hours, not an hour, not 2 hours, depending on how many cabinets you have. You want this line to be perfectly smooth and this line to be perfectly smooth, because your eyes will catch it and it will tell you that's a flawed product. In the middle, where all these other lines are, you can be a little off on the door, meaning up or down, or even left or right, but you cannot have it out this way towards you, because your brain will pick up on it. So these are not perfect, but you cannot tell. Remember, this is IKEA. When you're building the cabinets, I had to buy brackets, and I had to buy a lot of them. They're little L brackets. They look like this. There's holes on the L's. And to stabilize each box and to make it more sturdy, I put it on every single box. It's a lot of nipping and tucking. It took me forever to do it. but I did it because I wanted the box itself to be more sturdy, and it wasn't very sturdy out of IKEA's factory. If you lay them down, when you're putting the L brackets in, you want to lay it down on basically this end. You want to have a towel on the, you probably, if you do it in your kitchen, whatever flat surface, hard surfaces you're doing it, you put this down so that this cabinet, as you can see, right here's the opening, right? So it's going to be faced this way. And you'll see that everything lines up perfect with the door on. As soon as you drop it down, what happens is the weight of the door makes the cabinet trapeze, or it kind of turns it and it articulates it. Even if you put the brackets in, it is not perfect, but the brackets help a lot. And those barrels that we're talking about, they go everywhere. So you put them here, you just find the most logical place to put them. There's one here, and there's one down in here, and there's one up here. So everywhere that these things connect, which would be like, here and here and here, you got to put them. So that took, again, a whole nother day. You get to a point you just don't want to deal with it anymore. Make sure you have a sharp drill bit. Make sure you don't you don't want to drill the hole too small and not too big. You want it to be perfect. These are just some of the tricks. Next, we made sure to put electrical. Here's our box. That's an extra wire we had because our plug's behind the cabinet. We took a Dremel, drilled a hole on the very back plate, not right here, obviously. And we happened to get lucky and we had another plug here. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you run all the wires to where they need to go. Like we had to pull all the way some up here and then split them off for these doors, right? And so we had to do basically a test run to make sure, and you have to fish them in before you start bolting everything together, meaning you got to use your common sense and try to make sure you have the right amount of length. Next, I'm going to go ahead and turn this, I'm going to turn these LEDs off so you can see. This is what we have here, people. So there's a hole here that comes natural with IKEA. We took this black painter's tape from Amazon that we bought 2 rolls for $7. You put it way in the corner, way up high, way shoved in there. Right here, there's a little bit of looseness. You can see the wire. There's some play there, right? So the door is open. And you put black wire, or more black tape, and then we strung it right here. And we eventually take, if you're doing demo runs, you can just use blue tape or black tape and just hold it up there and do a demo run. And ours ends here. It's bright enough and it looks amazing. Adding more would be almost too much. And so each one of these has that. And there's also short shelves. We did not use a full, meaning our shelves are half the depth of the cabinet on purpose. We did not want full-length shelves. We didn't think it would look right. Whether it does to you or not, it's up to you to make that decision. You can put full shelves on any of the other ones because you'll never have the cabinets open long enough, so it doesn't matter. Also, the light goes all the way through, and you can see there's like a fine line on the ceiling, and I call that the lightsaber line. It's actually coming from the cabinets and working its way up to the ceiling. And the brighter that I have, this is on low right now, and the brighter these are, the stronger that light. I love it. I think it looks cool. We went to the blue light because I tried the yellow light, and the yellow light just didn't look right. So just so I'm clear, this strip on the bottom is one long LED, just like these are, but it's one long one. And you want to go really slow and push up with like a putty knife, basically a plastic putty knife, as you're pulling the tape off. And all this stuff took a long time. There's nothing rushed here. So every process you have, adjusting the doors takes a long time. Putting the LED strip takes a long time. This took a long time. Just putting the lights on it, decorating it took a long time. Making sure that these are flush. All 4 of these, I'm sorry, the 4 corners, not 4 of these, the 4 corners are flush. So these are all really important. We have one remote control here. This is for the light that's down there. And then we have another remote control hidden. It's just a little teeny black thing. It's really hard to see, but we basically just touch right there, and it's basically just ground. It's on the very end. And we have another one that is right, I can get my hand back here because the wall is not even for there. And there's that. So you got to hide this stuff the best you can. That white cable, I could get rid of that really easy if I wanted to, but right now we're leaving it there. It doesn't bother me that much. And what you want to do is, the first thing I would say is do a mock-up with 1 or 2 rows of this stuff. I don't know what you're going to have in your house. We didn't really have a budget for this. I knew it was going on credit card. We do believe we have about $2,300, but to give you an idea, A custom cabinet built is probably 10 to 12 grand. Obviously, it's gonna be high-end wood. Someone will come into your house. So when you say 2,300, you just remember this is IKEA, and there's 5, 10, 15, 25 pieces here. And plus you have the lighting and the shelving and, you know, So LED lights and all this stuff. So this actually seems expensive, but if you're putting it at a house to make your house look nice, it's actually relatively cheap. Because it adds value to your home. And we even made a joke that if we ever move, we will just leave this here. Either way, there you go. Obviously, some of the pictures we laid down because of privacy issues. And but I will tell you, be very mindful that do not put more than you need. Less is more, right? If there was only 3 things in here, I'd probably have 2 here and 1 here, or 2 there and 1 here. We have 4 items, another 4 items, a couple pictures we have laid down here. And you can see another picture here laid down, and there's this. So to each his own. This is the IKEA Besta. It took us about 60 to 80 hours to build this because we were doing trial and error. That does not include going back and forth to IKEA. That extra 20 hours difference, I'm just pulling it out because I remember just being here forever. You got to vacuum stuff, you got, you know, you're drilling holes, you're finding parts, you're laying on your back, and you're doing all this stuff, and time flies by. So it's basically 1 to 4 hour windows times a lot. So if you're going to commit to this and you like this style and you like this size, go for it. If you don't, you just want 1 or 2. I'm going to tell you now, the biggest thing we did, which was a game changer, was take out the feet and put on the floor. Everyone told us not to do dark on dark, and we shouldn't have listened to them. We tried the white cabinets. We even tried the two-tone, meaning this cabinet here and this cabinet are different. It did not look right in our house. You might have a certain color wall or certain accent furniture that looks good. But in our case, I'm just telling you. And to give you a feeling, I wish it was dark in here, but it's not. But I will turn on the light to give you one last thing before I sign off. Let me see here. This is what the cabinet looks like, just as it is. And those lights are on the dimmest setting in the glass compartments. And you could put them on timer, or Google or Alexa if you really wanted to. For us, it doesn't really matter. We have Google everything else. We just didn't get around to this. Maybe we'll do it in the future. Anyway, thanks for staying and playing. I know it's a long video. Take care, guys.